we're here. It's exciting. Ohio wrestling is the real deal, and you can hear it from every one of these coaches. I mean, you got high school coaches, we got Josh Moore, we got college coaches, but which is cool is we got a couple of middle school coaches here, and the passion is thick, and the love for wrestling is here, and we're excited August 30th to bring it on.
When you choose a medium market like Cleveland, obviously Chicago, you live in the Chicagoland area. That's a hard market to kind of like break into. New York City, LA, obviously. When you choose Cleveland, why Cleveland for the first show for for freestyle wrestling for you guys and your promotion? Why choose Cleveland? Why Cleveland?
Well, here's the deal. My business partner, Champ Bronstein, the guy that kind of brought this to life. We were going to do a one-off that we talked about doing a professional league. Then it came together, with Hulk Hogan, and we got Eric Bischoff involved, and just literally the dream kind of come full circle. So it's either Chicago or Cleveland. And Cleveland is just more of a market for wrestling that we can break into immediately. Chad's from here. We got Lance Palmer. We got Zeb Miller. I mean, we got everybody that's been our friends for so long. We're friends with people in Cleveland State, even though there's no wrestling. We're still friends with some people there. It just is a no-brainer. This is a mecca of wrestling in Illinois, and we wanted to bring Real American Freestyle here.
Real American Freestyle, what are you guys going to do differently that the other promotions, Real Pro Wrestling, Aegon, just two off the top of my head? How are you guys going to make wrestling work in the pro league?
Well, like we always like to say, back when these guys all started leagues before, there was a great group of guys. There was a great group of individuals. There was investment. There was people there. But let's remember, back then, when you won, you weren't even supposed to celebrate. If you celebrated back then, you were a bad person. Now the storyline's here, baby. You want Conor McGregor's are around. The showmen are around. And also social media. I mean, back in the day when they tried to promote wrestling and get wrestling outside the box, UFC was never where it is now, right? So now, you used to walk 10 years ago, you ask a guy at a bar, hey, what's a rear naked choke? He would look at you like you were crazy. Now you ask 9 out of 10 guys at the bar, what's a real naked choke? Who's UFC? They'll tell you exactly what's going on. And that's our job. Our job is to use social media. Our guys to use our character, our storylines. The best wrestling, some of the best people in the world are wrestlers. No one knows that. They don't know the storylines. They don't know the hard work, the trials and tribulations. And they need to hear it. And we're here to bring wrestling mainstream, and we're excited.
The sport of wrestling seems to struggle to let the stories be told, like you're saying, the humble aspect, right? Be humble, grind. Don't party on anyone. Don't celebrate. If we want this to work, you're going to have to tell the stories. There's going to have to be some animosity between the opponents. Build the storylines. There's a lot of things that have to be done. Why is wrestling so bad at telling the story, and how are you guys going to let the stories be told?
We're done lying. Let's really be honest. You go to any gym in the state, you hear them talking about the other teams in their neighborhood. You hear them talking about the other guy. Hey, you're stronger than that guy. You're better than that guy. I mean, you hear it. The shit talk is there. The reality of sport is there. But what's happened is everybody's been suppressed in wrestling because everybody feels that wrestling is this first-class sport where you can't be yourselves. We want to represent it this way. And the real reality is we're here to put on a show. We're here to kick some ass, bring the fans, inspire people to wrestle, and just have a great time. And that's what we're going to do. We're not going to hold on to, hey, you don't have to be yourself. You don't have to tell, if you don't like someone, say it. If you think he sucks, say it, because that's what the fans really want to hear. Nobody wants to see this PG type of sporting event anymore. They want to see what's really going on. Who is the baddest man in the world? We're going to find out in Real American Freestyle, and you're also going to know what type of person he is.
So Real American Freestyle is essentially partnered with Real American Beer, Hulk Hogan, Chad's a member. They're partners on that. So obviously we get I like beer. You like beer. Beer's good.
Like I tell everyone, it started all with a dream, right? I met Chad. Chad's Hulk Hogan's business partner. It started off with, let's just figure out what we're doing in wrestling. What can wrestling use? They're asking me, Izzy, how can we make wrestling better? I got Hulk Hogan, and I'm telling the dream. Wrestling's the best, greatest sport in the world. It saved my life. Let's go. Chad says, let's do it. We do it. We're backed by Real American Beer. So I went on a first couple tours with Hulk. Took him to the University of Illinois. Said, yo, man, check these wrestlers out. I'm going to show you the stars that we have. Took him down there. Lucas Bird, Mike Poeta. We brought these guys around. Hulk Hogan was blown away. The type of personalities they had. type of drive, ambition, and just the type of characters that fans and people around the world would be so inspired to see. Guys that aren't NFL players, accomplishing their goals and living to be pro athletes. Nothing better.
You're the disruptor of amateur wrestling is what I like to think. I feel pretty confident in saying that. The disruptor of the professional wrestling is obviously Eric Bischoff with WCW and what he did and rival WWF, WWE then. And he is the disruptor, I would say, of sports entertainment. I mean, but you're our disruptor, right?
Yeah.
I would. Do you feel like that's an accurate?
I always like to tell people I do what's best for the sport of wrestling. Wrestling saved my life, so I'm going to continue to evolve and go back into it. And I'm not tooting my own horn here, but I didn't have to do this, right? I could have stayed home. I run a very successful wrestling school. I own my mat man. My life's pretty smooth, man. I got a beautiful family, 4 kids. I didn't do this except to build wrestling and grow the sport of wrestling, and that's what I'm doing here. There's other organizations. I apologize. I didn't know you guys are doing this when I'm a year and a half in the trenches building this thing. So it's a all-in mentality. I'm going to be here for the next 10 years no matter what, and I'm going all in with Real American Freestyle to help bring a professional wrestling sport to our wrestlers so they don't have to go to the UFC. They don't have to do that. Everyone says to me, Izzy, what's up with the wrestlers in UFC? I go, well, we get NIL now. All the wrestlers are making money. Now we get the Real Pro Wrestling League. We don't have to go in the UFC and get our heads bashed in. We can come in here and wrestle. So people say I disrupt it only because I want what's best for the sport. Politics are out of the game, and we're trying to do what's best. And that's just creating this league, bringing eyes that no one's ever brought in. When we first did our first press conference, we had 100 million impressions in one day. Something no other wrestling organizations ever thought of. It was an $11 million marketing evaluation for the content that we've been able to put out through Izzy Martinez, Hulk Hogan, Chad Bronstein, Real American Beer. I mean, we've all partnered up to grow the greatest sport in the world, and that's Real American Freestyle Wrestling.
Crazy thing to me is, you're John Jones's wrestling coach for over a decade. You don't seem to feel like leveraging him into this is anything. I think he's got a pretty good brand. He's a JUCO national champ. You're a JUCO national champ. There's kind of that kindred right there, I'd say. Are you both Iowa Central?
He's Iowa Central.
You're North Idaho.
My brother was Iowa Central.
You're North Idaho.
North Idaho.
K-Rob, Kevin Roberts is going
to
punch me in the face when he watches this interview.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're North Idaho.
Yeah.
But you guys are JUCO national champs. You're his wrestling coach. You have been. He retires. He's back. We don't know, right? But you don't feel like leveraging him? You think you got enough star power?
This is what I would say about this sport of Real American Freestyle Wrestling, basically the pro level. Everyone knows what's going on. John Jones is a great friend of ours. We had a lot of fun together. We won a lot of world titles together. John sees what's going on, and if John believes in it and thinks this is something that he wants to be a part of, I'm sure he's going to reach out. I got a lot of respect for John. Like I said before, we won a lot of world titles together. It was a lot of fun. But you're working with people that believe in this. So anybody that watches it, anybody that believes in it, they know how to reach out to Izzy Martinez and support it. And that's where we're at. We'd love to have John Jones. I mean, who wouldn't? He's a performer. No one's seen him lose.
I'm not even saying bring him in the league. Yeah. I'm just like, you bring him to the show, that's automatic. 2,000 people show up just to see that guy.
I've known John Jones for a long time, and I don't know if John Jones is here to show up. I think John's here to take over, and I think that's kind of his mentality. But I'll let him speak on that. We're going to be reaching out to John next month or so after our first event, getting our feet wet, showing everyone what we're about. We got a great production team. Eric Bischoff is just unbelievable. We're ready to perform. We're ready to show everyone that we're bringing something new to the sport.
If you could just give me a couple matchups that, whatever you can release. You said some pretty. I don't know. When I hear Bo Nickel, we all know that Bo Nickel's the gunslinger, right? We know Bo Nickel made a splash in the UFC, fought a bigger guy, took a loss, and I think Bo Nickel's hungry to compete again. But I like Bo Nickel in the league. I really like that one. Who do you have in the league, and who are some matchups, if you can share some?
All right, so before we go into the matchups, here's what I have for Bo Nickel and all these UFC fighters. We got guys that are professional fighters, right? You grew up your whole life. Every weekend you're going to the wrestling event. Every weekend, there might be one weekend a month you don't go. You're going to high school, you're wrestling 3 times a week, you're making weight. You go to college, every weekend you're scrapping, you're sharp. And to you, sharpness a lot of time is the reps and competition. That's exactly what you do. That's your routine. Then all of a sudden you go to the UFC. Now Bo Nickel's competing once or twice a year. How does he stay mentally aware and sharp? That's what we come into play. Bo Nickel's never going to get hurt wrestling. He's the best in the world at the sport, right? So what we're doing is we're bringing in wrestlers to keep them sharp for the UFC, but also guys like Bo Nickel that can perform, and wrestling fans really want to see. What people don't know is Bo Nickel is wrestling Jacob Cardenas, 3-time All-American from Cornell, 1-time All-American from Michigan, third in the NCAAs. That's going to be a burner. Bo Nickel's first match back. He says he wants to take out someone hot, so we gave him Jacob Cardenas, and that's going to be a burner. Earlier today, you heard Lance Palmer calling Austin Gomez a burrito. It's exciting there. You know, Lance is...
You're not offended? You're not offended by that?
Great.
Okay,
great.
you're building... Okay, I like it.
Here's the deal, man. This league and the UFC and any sports league, if you're offended, just stay home. If you're offended, then you're the reason why this sport isn't growing. These guys are having fun. These guys are shit talking. Real Woods is calling Darian Caldwell uncle. You know, yeah, Darian.
We're getting into it.
These guys are shit talking like they normally would. But we're not being suppressed by the world of wrestling anymore. There's nobody going to punish you for telling someone else they're a fat ass, or they're not tough, or they're old. That's allowed because that's the truth. And however you feel, you should say it. So Austin Gomez is telling, he's telling Lance Palmer that. Darian Caldwell's talking shit to Real Woods. And we got some big matches. Kennedy Blade, Sarah Hildebrandt. We got some other big matches that we're going to announce. We got some big heavy hitters. Wyatt Hendrickson might be in the card.
Ooh.
Just to throw some out there.
Captain America. The new Captain America.
And we got a real specialty matchup. And when you think about the WWE, you think about wrestling, WWF, you think about the world champion of the world, but you also think about another couple champions. And you guys are going to find out in a couple days.
That sounds a tag team? What are you talking about? Tag team? What's going on here?
I'm talking about bringing something new to the sport, something entertaining, something the fans want to see to shake this thing up.
You didn't say tag team, though. I said that.
I didn't say tag team, and I didn't say jumping out of bounds to certain things either. I said we're going to keep it real as can be, like Real American Freestyle. We're going to bring something to the sport that's going to entertain the fans.
You got me fired up. Do you have anything else for me?
We're just excited. Yanni is wrestling Bajarain 2021. Bajarain was the number one in the world. Wrestled Yanni. Yanni was a 4-time Division I NCAA champion. That match is a barn burner on slippery mats in New York City. They both want this match back.
So we're going to get that rematch.
We're going to get that rematch August 30th. Yanni is wrestling Bajarain. We're bringing India in the house. We're bringing the Mexico fans. We're bringing everyone. We got a Canadian guy in the mix. We got a couple guys from Egypt in the mix.
So we're going international.
Who's the baddest man in the world? Who's the baddest woman in the world? We're bringing the Real American Freestyle Wrestling. Stay tuned.
Izzy, thank you for the time. Enjoy some snacks here, some food, maybe some beers. I want to get a Real American here potentially. I really like that hat, by the way. Hopefully I'll get one August 30th.
Listen, everyone's going to get what they ever wanted in this sport, and we're going to try our hardest to do the best. We appreciate everyone's support. We hope everybody around Cleveland comes out, supports this thing. We're all in. And Cleveland, we're not just coming August 30th. We're coming back. We're going to bring another show back, and we're going to be even better.